Welcome into another Midweek Minutes edition of the Talking Fantasy Baseball podcast. My name is Eric Henriksen. On each Midweek Minutes, we'll be bringing you the biggest news and notes you need to know. A quick reminder that if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're available on all major podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and the Odyssey app. And leave us that 5-star rating, a thumbs up, like our videos, like our content. It really helps us out a lot. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. Ronald Acuna will not need to see a doctor before beginning a minor league rehab assignment sometime this month. That means there's still no timetable for his return, but you could probably anticipate a late May or early June return to action for one of the best players in fantasy baseball. Hot waiver wire ad Ben Kasparius got the win as the bulk reliever yesterday for the Dodgers after striking out 5 and allowing 1 run in 4 innings of work. He did walk 2, and walks were an issue for him in the minors. But the good news is he was able to get up to 70 pitches in this one, so the Dodgers might let him make a traditional start next time out. His underlying numbers are fantastic, but it'll be interesting to see if his stuff plays as a starter. Cole Reagans returned to the mound after missing his last start with a groin issue. He struck out 11 in 5 innings, allowing just 3 hits. I think he's totally fine. Jackson Merrill is set to be activated from the IL today following a 1-month absence due to a right hamstring strain. Although Minnesota was off yesterday, Royce Lewis was activated from the injured list in preparation for today's series opener against Baltimore. With his extensive soft tissue injury history, keep an IL spot open if you had him stashed. We know he's going to get hurt again. Tristan Casas suffered a devastating knee injury last Friday, a ruptured left patellar tendon, while running to first base. He underwent successful surgery on Sunday and currently has no timetable for a return. Though that injury typically has a recovery of about 6 months, don't expect him back until next season, and historically speaking, that's one of the most difficult injuries to come back from, so there's a chance he's never the same again. And not that he really got off the ground to begin with, other than maybe like a 3-month stretch a couple of years ago, but bad news for Tristan Casas. However, that could open up a spot for Roman Anthony, for Marcelo Mayer, so just keep an eye out for the big news coming for either one of those prospects. They've been red hot at AAA over the last few weeks. The Diamondbacks announced that Corbin Burnes will make his next scheduled start after missing Monday's game with a shoulder issue. His next start, the Dodgers. And with the way he's pitched so far this year, I think that's a clear sit. Maybe wait and see. There's something going on with Corbin Burnes, so just be aware. Maybe sell if you can if somebody's not totally read up on the situation. Yordan Alvarez was placed on the 10-day injured list with right hand inflammation. Initially, manager Joe Espada said the injury was nothing to worry about, but Alvarez is headed back to Houston for imaging. So maybe it is something to worry about. Plus, now he's on the IL. It's not a altogether unique occurrence for Alvarez. I feel like every season there is a injured list stint for him, whether it's for his knees, now his hand, or something. George Kirby struck out 4 and allowed 1 run on 1 hit over 3 innings in his first rehab game on Sunday. He topped out at 97.8 miles per hour and threw 42 pitches. He's expected to make 2 to 3 more rehab starts before being activated. Sandy Alcantara continues to struggle mightily. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings against the Dodgers last night, and I really can't list out all the ways things have gone horribly wrong for Sandy so far this season. This is the Midweek Minutes edition of the podcast. But just know his ERA is up to 8.42 on the season. Not good. But he does get the White Sox this weekend, so maybe that's just a soft landing spot where he can kind of turn something around, but it's just not looking good for Sandy right now. I'm not 100% sure what to do with him. He is coming off Tommy John surgery. He's been really, really bad, but we know he has ace upside, or at least he did before the Tommy John surgery. So that being said, he could very well be a different pitcher now post-surgery. Look, he was dropped in one of my leagues, and I didn't add him because I think he's too volatile right now. Somebody did pick him up to stash him on their bench, and good for them. But, it's not necessarily going to turn it around this year, and I know we're talking small sample in 5 weeks, but he's just not looked good. He's got no command whatsoever. Teoscar Hernandez is set to undergo an MRI on his hamstring today after exiting Monday's contest early. Dave Roberts said it's, quote, a little concerning. So my guess is a month, because that seems to be what the hamstring injuries are costing hitters these days. Ketel Marte missed a month. Jackson Merrill missed a month. So now possibly Teoscar Hernandez. Carlos Rodon is actually having a nice bounce back season so far for the Yankees. His best, I would say, his best stretch in pinstripes so far. He held the Padres scoreless through 6 2/3 innings with 5 strikeouts yesterday in really wet and yucky conditions in the Bronx. He left with a 3-0 lead. Fernando Cruz came in, finished out the 7th inning. Then in the 8th, Devin Williams came in, loaded the bases. He gave way to Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver promptly allowed all 3 inherited runners to score, plus Manny Machado, who hit the 2-run double. And this marked the first run that Luke Weaver has given up this season. I think Luke Weaver has been the exact opposite of Devin Williams. I still think Devin Williams is a hold. He's just got too good of a track record, so you have to wait and see what's going to happen with him if he can turn it around soon. You spent a lot of draft capital on Devin Williams. Hopefully you got Luke Weaver to cover your save situation for now. Despite hitting about 190, Luis Robert leads the league in stolen bases with 15 so far. That's 1 more than O'Neal Cruz and 2 more than third place Elly De La Cruz, last year's stolen base leader. Luis Roberts' previous career high was 23 stolen bases, which he set last season, so he's way ahead of that pace, assuming he can stay healthy. A.J. Smith-Shawver took a no-hitter into the 8th inning yesterday. He struck out 5, but also walked 4, and that's been a problem for him so far this season. It was Santiago Espinal who had a single to lead off the 8th inning that broke up the no-no. And lastly, Cubs president of baseball operations Jed Hoyer said the organization's number 2 prospect, Cade Horton, is, quote, an option to replace the injured Shota Imanaga, who hit the 15-day IL with a left hamstring injury. Horton, who was a top prospect in all of baseball a couple years ago, struggled with injuries last year, only pitching in 9 games. So far this season at AAA Iowa, he started 6 games with a 1.24 ERA in 29 innings, striking out 33 batters. With the state of starting pitching right now, you could very well add him to see what happens, but temper expectations, in my opinion. If he does get the call, he does walk quite a few hitters. If he does take Amanaga's spot in the rotation, he lines up to face the Mets on Saturday, but the team could very well hold off and give him a slightly easier debut. So just keep an eye out for that too. And again, he's not definitely getting the call. He's just an option because his rotation spot lines up perfectly with Shota Imanaga's. All right, that just about wraps it up for this edition of Midweek Minutes. Josh and I will be back later this week with an all-new full-length episode, so please subscribe. We're available on all major podcast platforms. And give us a like, 5-star review, and if there's anything you want us to talk about, drop us a message. For Talking Fantasy Baseball's Midweek Minutes, I'm Eric saying, see you next time.